Hi, everybody. Haley Shapiro here with NYRA Bets, joined by a very special guest, Andy Serling. Andy, thank you so much for joining me today. I know there's a lot going on with the Derby and the Oaks, but very excited to have you here to talk about two very exciting races on Saturday, the Pate Mile and the Churchill Downs. I thought that they came up pretty strong, so really happy to get to discuss them with you.
Yeah, actually, the Pate Mile is one of the more disappointing races, frankly, this weekend. It's usually a war, and it came up a little lighter than expected. To be honest, there's so many good races this week. I'm not saying it's a bad race, but somehow you always expect the Pate Mile to be 14 horses and come flying out there, but it looks like a slightly different situation, though Bob Baffert is well represented in his return to Churchill.
Definitely. And I know that we probably would have liked to see a few of the Derby horses in that field, but we did get a couple of ex Derby horses in the Pate Mile. So that's pretty exciting. Matticat Road, Bill, California Burrito, even Gaming. So who really caught your eye here when you first took a look at this race?
I think Built is way the horse to beat in here. I want horses that were forward in the Louisiana Derby mile and 3/16 race. It featured a fast pace that collapsed, and I actually thought he ran pretty well in there. To be honest, I don't think he ran as well as John Hancock, but he ran very well in there. He's got fast figures to go to on the go back. I like the cut back to a mile, and I think he's one of the more logical horses, frankly, on this entire card, and he's not going to be favored. So, and I'm really not that thrilled with the Baffert runners. I'm not a big Matticat Road fan. He's not impossible. I don't love Gaming's recent races, though he's not impossible either. I think Built is pretty strong in here.
Yeah, I saw it pretty similarly. Built was the one that really jumped out to me, especially I think the cutback and distance is really going to suit him. He has great tactical speed. Definitely Gaming, I thought was a little bit interesting out of the two Bafferts, getting back to a one-turn mile. I think honestly it should probably suit Gaming a bit. Didn't know your thoughts on that. I mean, he is a game winner, and we've seen, they're not the most effective around two turns. So was pretty interested in him cutting back to a mile, but definitely thought Built was the one that stuck out to me.
Yeah, no, I thought he was dangerous. I think the other two horses that I would use in here are California Burrito, who I think he's the kind of horse that at first glance he doesn't look that good because he's been running in synthetic races, but he obviously has a fast figure two back. And last time out, he was caught chasing a pace that completely fell apart. And it's not as though he doesn't have dirt credentials. I mean, he got a 78 buyer in his last dirt start, and that was in November. So routine improvement has him in the mid 80s at least here. And if you look at him, his first race in synthetic, he ran a 68 buyer. He's really improved since then. So I think he's an improving horse, and he may be getting back to a surface that he actually handles very well. And he'll be a huge price in there. And I also think Gate to Wire has a chance. I didn't like his Mountain of Youth, but I like him cutting back to one turn mile because his swale was a huge effort. I think if he can get to that race, he has a real chance to be very effective here. So I was going to use Built with California Burrito and Gate to Wire.
Yeah, definitely similar to how I saw it. I was planning on using Gate to Wire underneath Bill. I think cutting back to a mile is going to suit him, and that swale was pretty strong as well. I mean, coming back off the layoff, he should be pretty sharp and have good speed out of the gate as well, and gets Flavian Pratt aboard for the first time. So definitely one that stuck out to me, 6-1 on the morning line. Looking towards the outside, I wasn't really interested in the 8 or the 9, the two D Wayne Lucas horses. Not sure your thoughts on those. Maybe out of the two, Innovator was a little bit more interesting. He has good speed, but still, I think they're a little in deep here.
Well, and the worst, I mean, I didn't like either one of them, but the worst on the outside at least seems to be improving in his best form. I'm actually making a bet on the early double here at Aqueduct, sorry. I don't know what to do with Innovator. I mean, obviously, he got caught up in the fast pace on the wrong surface last time out. He chased the fast pace in the Rebel, so you can make some excuses for him. His LeCompte was okay, so I can see a little bit of a case at a huge price to throw Innovator in there. I don't think that's the worst idea by any stretch.
Definitely me and you are pretty high on Built in this spot. I think he was the one that really jumped out on the card of the whole day. Definitely agree with that. And interested to see how the two Baffert horses run as well. But I thought that honestly, my favorite race of the day has to, besides the Derby, is probably the Churchill Downs. I thought that this race is stacked. You have Nice returning off a long layoff, who was a monster at one point, and then so I'm pretty excited to see him come back.
You,
And a
you don't
couple
think
of
he'll be the third choice? Who made this morning line?
Yeah, I think that he's going to go off as the
Maybe he didn't know
favorite.
who Nisos was. Maybe he forgot. He hasn't run in so long. It's been a long time. For those that don't know, he was the Derby favorite and a
Yeah.
heavy Derby favorite last year before he got hurt.
Yeah, he was. I was shocked to see him at that price on the morning line. So
He's
I'm
going to
going
be
to
the
try to.
favorite in here, and
Mhm.
maybe he should be. I just think he's tough to take. Baffert. I looked up some numbers. 250 plus day layoffs in greatest stakes in the dirt. He's just 2 for 13. You just don't see Bob doing this that often. I know he wants to get to the Met Mile, and you get the feeling that obviously like to win both these races. They're huge races, but you get the feeling that the race they want to win is the Met Mile, and this is the race to get there. Not saying they don't want to win, but I'm a little bit suspect to him at a short price here. Four
I'm
to one,
very
I bet him, but he's not going to be 4 to 1.
I completely agree. At 4 to 1, I'd bet him. Honestly, I'd take a shot even off the layoff just because of how impressive he was. But I'm going to give him a start. Like you said, the Met Mile is definitely their larger goal. Probably just trying to bring him back in a spot like this. So it'll
I'm
be
sure he's doing
interesting.
great. He wouldn't bring him here. Bob is not the kind of guy
Mhm.
that makes a fool of himself off layoffs. I'm not trying to suggest that.
Mhm.
This is one hell of a spot to come back in, though, off of a 15-month layoff.
Yeah, I thought that this was a really, really strong field. To be honest, I am a little bit scared of Nisos. I don't think that he's a great bet at all at the price
Well, he
he's going to
could
go off
win.
at. But to have him on my pick fives, I mean, I don't want this horse to beat me. He could come back strong, but
So where are you going?
I'm going with Mulligan on the outside, the 11. I think he drew really well here. Play the break a little bit. He's a horse with really good tactical speed. He can sit up on the lead. He can sit off a horse. And this is his ideal distance, 7 furlongs. I mean, his two triple digit figures came going this distance. And he's a horse that I think, honestly, we could see make some noise this year. I really liked him last year.
He was
Cigar
terrific in the Breeders' Cup. I mean, his sprint, where nobody really made up ground, he ran really well.
He ran very well, so much so that I tried taking him in the Cigar Mile. I don't think, maybe that's just not a good
Well, he
distance
lost a
for him.
lot. Lock's pretty good.
Yeah, he lost a lock that day. So, not the most embarrassing horse to lose to
No, he's good. I
whatsoever.
agree with you.
Gets back
What about
to,
Mind Frame? What are we doing with him?
I mean, I was going to ask you about Mind Frame. He's a horse that I really could not make a case for
Really?
using him whatsoever. I mean, yeah, he's run at all different distances in all of his starts. I just don't really know what their larger goal is with this horse.
Well, I imagine he's trying to win this in the Met Mile.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, fierceness could be the Met Mile too, so it's hard to really know. Uh, I think he's very, very good. I mean, to do what he did in the Belmont on his third career start was exceptional. And the thing about his return race was he made a big move as the pace in fast fractions. It's not surprising he tired late going to a mile. I'm not going to be surprised at all if he wins. And I think with Nisos likely taking so much money, he could end up being like 7 to 2 in here. And to me, while he's not my top choice, I'm not sure he might not be the one that kind of falls to the cracks. I agree with you on Mulligan. And listen, all of these horses can win. I'm going to bet on Bookham Dano in here. My argument for Bookham Dano is the race he ran the Jerkins, the race he ran the Woody Stevens. These are efforts that are good enough to win here. And I think his Woody Stevens a better race than it looks because he wasn't as far back as a lot of the others were behind that, one of the most insane paces you'll ever see in racing. And he made that big middle move to get the big lead, and he still hung on against very good horses. And I thought his race beyond domestic product in Prince of Monaco, where he never had that comfortable a trip, was pretty good. And then I didn't like his ride in the Perryville. I didn't like his ride in the Cigar Mile, frankly. And I also think there's an argument. He had basically been running for like a year plus straight, including a trip to Saudi Arabia. He never really had that much time off, and I think he probably tailed off a little at the end of the year. So he's got figures as a 3-year-old that make him contentious with horses that are going to be much shorter prices than him. And I don't know why he can't step forward and get it done in here. I don't think he's the likeliest winner by any stretch of the imagination. He might really be the fourth likeliest winner, but I don't know that the gap is that substantial that betting him at like 8-1 around where he is because mind frame. Nisos and Mulligan have to take all the money in this race. So I think it blows out our horses. And if Banishing takes money as well, and I don't like Banishing at all in this race, I don't think he has a prayer to get a piece in here. I mean, he's got him down the same price on the morning line as Giant Mischief. I don't know how somebody looks at these two horses and says, I want Giant Mischief, unless they just love everything Brad Cox runs, which isn't the worst opinion to have. It's just not my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked Bookham Dano last year. I do have a little bit of concern. I mean, he's 4 now. He's going to be facing older horses, obviously in some deeper waters, but he's a tough horse. And I mean, to come back from the Saudi Derby the way he did, I thought was really impressive. So I think 8-1 on the morning line is really great value on him. He could slip through the cracks, like you said. I definitely share the same opinion on Banishing. Was interested to hear your thoughts on that horse. That really seemed
I just think Jacobson can't help himself. To come back in 13 days after that race in the Oakland race to run against these Tigers, to me, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah,
I realize he's in great form, but this is how you bury horses that are in good form, by doing things like this.
Definitely don't think he really stands a chance.
I think he should have skipped the last race. I know it's a big purse race, and I get it. He ran second, benefited greatly from running in there. But having said that, you're either supposed to run there or here, not in both.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll end up regretting that.
The last horse that I really want to ask you about, one that I really like, at least underneath, that I think could have really good value and at least really hold his value come post time, is the number 6, Extra Anejo. What did you think about this horse? I thought that the Grade 3 Commonwealth last time out, he ran a really good race off a layoff going this distance, and I think maybe returned as a different horse at 5. Interested on your thoughts on this one.
I just didn't think it was good enough. I didn't like the field in the Commonwealth, and I just didn't think he was really good enough. So I wasn't a fan of his chances. But listen, he's a big price. I don't want to ever talk people at big prices. He's not my cup of tea.
So it's all Mulligan, Bookham Dano for you here?
I'm Bookham Dano. I mean, I'm going to focus on him. I'm going to bet him to win, and I'll see what prices the other horses are. But no, I actually like it, Bookham Dano and Mindframe, to be honest with you. I think Mindframe, I'm not sure he won't be the third choice of them, and I'm not sure he's not. I think he's very dangerous. I underrated Mindframe last year, and I'm not going to make that mistake again this year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see how he runs. He's probably one I'm going to have on my tickets, even if I don't play him to win. But thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure. I'm trying to watch the first race, too. It's been my pleasure, and good luck to everybody in the Derby weekend.
Good luck, everyone. Thank you so much, Andy.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.